most sustainable products, sustainable coffee production is not only healthy for the environment, but it's also healthy for the body. Like our commitment to purity in every cup, our focus extends beyond taste to encompass the health of consumers and the environment. At Purity Coffee, the journey from farm to cup should be as pure and sustainable as the coffee itself. Our farmers adhere to rigorous organic farming practices, ensuring our beans are free from harmful chemicals and pesticides.
We try to make organic coffee, even though we didn't know it was organic. We just were not using chemicals or anything like it. We weren't really interested on chemicals. We wanted to have something healthy, something without needs of chemicals. That's why we went into, by then didn't exist the word organic, I think. We're talking about on the 70s. So nowadays we know the new words, organic, sustainable, and all that. We try to do all that regardless. We didn't do it for any purpose specifically, but we did it because it's the natural things to do. We live on the farm. We have a lot of workers who are thriving to make things better every time. And they love the fact of the challenge of what to do with some waste, what to better up things, what to recycle, what to reuse.
Hi, and welcome back to the Sovereign Sisters podcast. I'm your host, Angela Atkins of YourHealthUnbound.com, and today we're going to do something different. If you've been listening to me, you already know this world is toxic. We've talked about it. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the soil we grow that food from, and even our bodies are under daily attack. And so you're thinking, okay, I get it, but now what? Well, this is what we're doing today. This is the now what. We're shifting from problem to solution, from awareness to action. Today, I'm going to walk you through natural, accessible remedies to start detoxing your world. We'll cover 4 categories: water, air, soil, and your body. Now, each one has its own slide, so if you're watching the video version, don't waste your time trying to take a screenshot of these graphics. At the end, I'll tell you how you can download the full infographic for free. So let's get into it. Let's start with the first slide. So here we have natural water cleansing. Number 1 on the list is activated charcoal. This is one of the oldest and most effective ways to pull toxins out, like chlorine, VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds, and even some pesticides from your water. It doesn't add anything. It just removes the bad. It works through adsorption. That's where the toxins bind to the surface of the charcoal. Now, the surface area is huge, and even in small amounts, it makes perfect for countertop or gravity-fed filters. It's also very affordable and portable. It's great for home use and for emergencies. You can put it in kits and take it with you. These all are really no-tech solutions, so it's very easy to do any of them. Now, number 2 is ceramic filters. Now, these filters are porous ceramic to trap and physically block bacteria, sediment, and microplastics. That's really important these days. They're great for those who want to keep the natural minerals but ditch the contaminants. They're long-lasting, they don't require power, and best of all is that they preserve the natural minerals found in water. So it's ideal for daily use and safe for all drinking systems. And number 3 is a gravity-fed filter. Think of it like a system like a Berkey. It's simple, powerful, and very portable. And now these combine both the ceramic and the charcoal, but doesn't require any electricity. You pour water in the top and you let gravity do the work. They're totally reliable, they're very low maintenance, and they can handle high volumes. So it's perfect for families or for the prepper. We even take one with us when we travel. They're that portable. And you can build your own if you don't want to spend a lot of money for that shiny chrome container. And you can find out how to make your own on my website, yourhealthonbound.com. If you just search for rain barrels, I did a whole segment on that where we put our rain barrels out, we collected the water, then we built our own Berkey style filter so we can just continually clean the rainwater from the barrels. It's very simple to do. The number 4 on the list is solar disinfection, or called SODIS. This is a very minimalist method, but it's used all around the world. You just place glass jars filled with water out in direct sunlight for 6 hours or more. The sun's UV rays help neutralize harmful microbes and pathogens. So it's free, it's effective, and it requires nothing but clean containers, time, and your patience. Number 5 on the list are shungite stones. Now, shungite is a rare and unique mineral from Russia that naturally filters water. It's also known for the ability to bind heavy metals and biological contaminants. So you just place the stones in a glass container, let them sit for a few hours. It's very low effort, but it's high impact. So this is ancient wisdom which serves in our modern crisis of a toxic world. Then there's copper vessels. You store water in a pure copper jug overnight, and it allows the metal's antimicrobial properties to work. It just kills harmful bacteria naturally. Copper does have that antimicrobial property, and it's been known for centuries. And this ancient practice is still very relevant today. I always have my copper mug with me every day where I drink all my water out of. Nice, clean water. Then number 7 on the list. Oh, we have a question about a Berkey filter. Hold on one second. So it's asking, is it difficult to build a Berkey filter? Can anyone do it? It is so simple. What we did is we went to our local hardware store. We got 2 5-gallon buckets with the lids. We purchased the Berkey filters. Now, I know it's hard to get Berkey filters now, but there are comparable ones. There's the British Berkey filter, which is recommended by Berkey because they are having trouble with the EPA. So it's a little difficult right now to get the actual Berkey filters, or someone may be selling them online still. But you just get them, you put the 2 buckets together. So you have a top bucket that you drill holes in. You add the filters into those holes, and then the bottom bucket's lid, you have holes in them where you screw them together. So you've got a top bucket with a bottom bucket lid, and you put that on top of the bottom bucket, which will be your catch-all. And then you have a lid for the top to keep, dust and dirt out of the water. And all you do is you take off the top lid, you fill in the water. This is what we do with our rainwater. We put it in the top bucket. It naturally drains through. The charcoal in the filter takes all the toxic materials, the heavy metals and all, into the charcoal, and then it drips down through the filter into the bottom bucket. Then on the bottom bucket, you've attached a spigot. You can get them from anywhere. You can also get them from Berkey if you'd like, but they're sold many places. And that spigot is what you fill your containers with. And then it's just a simple process for us. Get the rainwater from outside in a bucket, load it into the top, it drains down, and then you have clean water in the bottom bucket. Now, the one thing I do recommend, especially if you're using rainwater, is we use cheesecloth at the top. So we just take clothespins at the top bucket. And so when you pour in the rainwater, any contaminants that may be in there, you could have grass or anything blowing around, it'll catch the big stuff, and then the filters will catch the smaller stuff. So thank you for that question. That was really important that people don't understand. But the instructions are out on yourhealthonbound.com under our rain buckets, so you can look there. So we were just talking copper vessels. So you can buy copper anywhere, it seems, these days. They're selling new copper everywhere. You can buy them on the big box stores. You can buy them online. I prefer antique ones because I feel like there's got history to it. And that, I think you'll also know that real copper is different than just a facade that they put around it or a veneer. There are some that in probably, I would say, 50s, 60s that were making with copper on the outside, tin on the inside. But that's okay. You can use those, but they're not as good as the copper all around. Now, Spain, I can't think of the company off the top of my head. They're a big place for getting pure copper, cookware, drinkware. But if you go to antique stores, you would be surprised just how many you'll find these days. That when you go in, the best thing to do is to look for copper and then touch it. Make sure it sounds like a metal. And then if you have a little magnet with you, I take the magnet that's on, I have a phone case that has a magnet on the end. I just take it and touch it. If it sticks, then there's a metal inside. It's not copper. But if it doesn't stick, then it's real copper because it's not magnetic. So that's a really good thing to test out to see if you really have copper or not. And of course, many of the people in antique stores will try to tell you one way or another, but you should really be prepared before you go. Just simple things, looking on the inside, making sure it's copper throughout, checking to see if it magnet touches, or, just the weight of it will also make a difference. I think you'll get to see very quickly just how quickly you can tell what is real copper and what isn't. So thanks for your questions. Then the last on the list is number 7, boiling. So this is a good old-fashioned method, just boiling, but I'm telling you, this should be your last resort. Yeah, it'll kill bacteria and parasites, but it can actually concentrate heavy metals and make them more toxic. So I would only recommend this in an emergency situation only, if there's no other options available to you. So if you did any of the other methods, even sticking it out in the sun, but if you don't have sun or you're in a bad situation, boiling is one way to actually have some sort of water available to you. So let's move on and talk about the air. Let me get the other slide. So we have natural air cleansing, which we all need because we take 20,000 breaths a day. Let's make them count. So one thing I like and I have around my house is our number one, indoor plants. So if you have plants like a spider plant, a peace lily, or a snake plant, they're not just for decoration. They help clean the air by filtering out toxins. They absorb pollutants like formaldehyde and they release oxygen, so it improves your indoor air quality very naturally. Now, here's one I haven't tried, and I'll tell you why, because I don't burn many candles, but beeswax candles are so much better than synthetic candles because beeswax won't release toxins. Instead, it emits negative ions that bind to the pollutants in the air. Plus, it smells clean and natural, and there's no artificial fragrance. Now, number 3 is Himalayan salt lamps. Now, these lamps attract moisture in the air, and they help trap dust and dander and pollutants. They also give off a soft, calming glow that enhances the room's energy. I know I have a Himalayan salt lamp in my bedroom. Now, this is really good because you don't want dust floating around while you're sleeping, especially if you sleep with your mouth open, which sometimes I do. You're catching dust. I mean, it really helps clean the air. Plus, it has just a soft light. It's almost as good as a nightlight. It's what I'm trying to say is better than having a plugged-in nightlight. You have this salt lamp that gives not only a warm feeling to the room, but it's also helping enhance the room's energy and give a calming effect. Then number 4 on the list is activated charcoal again. But this time, you're going to place bowls or pouches of activated charcoal in rooms to absorb odors, mold spores, and airborne toxins. So this would be a good thing to have for bathrooms, closets, or anywhere that you might have for mold might be an issue, maybe in the corner of the basement or something. This is a really good one, and it's very, very low tech, and it's very easy to use. Now, another one is essential oil diffusers. So essential oils can be great for just about anything. They all have different constituents that help our bodies naturally. But if you use oils like tea tree, eucalyptus, lemon, even lime, they all have antimicrobial properties. So when you diffuse them, not only does it clean the air, but it can help elevate your mood, and it also supports your immunity. So another one that I truly love or have loved in the past is natural ventilation, number 6 on our list. So opening your windows on a clean air day for just 15 minutes can drastically reduce indoor air pollution. But I say a clean air day, just be aware if there are chemtrails in your area, if there's heavy traffic or some sort of smoke, some pollution in the air. I know there's pollution just about everywhere, but I think you can evaluate what a clean air day is from a day that is possibly too polluted to open it. But if you do open your windows, do a cross ventilation so it lets the fresh air in and the stale air out, and it kind of moves through the house. Then number 7 on the list are bamboo charcoal bags. Now, these are small reusable cloth bags that are filled with charcoal that absorbs toxins and odors. This is great for smaller areas or smaller things like putting in your car or putting it inside your shoes to help gather odor. Small rooms or putting it near a pet bed or in the kids' play area because it's contained within the bamboo bag. So let's move on to the next one, which we're going to talk about soil detoxing. So soil detoxing starts off with a bang here. I think this is the biggest bang for your buck. Number 1 is compost and worm castings, because compost restores organic material, while worm castings add living enzymes and good bacteria. So together, they rebuild the soil's life and help neutralize toxins over time naturally. Now, I suggest with planting season coming up, not to disturb the natural soil biome by tilling the garden. I know many people think it's necessary when you start a garden that you get a tiller and you dig it all up, but you can just take a rake to break up the dry dirt and then mix it with new organic soil. But don't try to go too deeply in the soil because you disturb the natural residents there. The worms, the grubs, and all those little critters that have really important jobs to do that keep our soil healthy. It's really important that we start thinking about them the same way we think about other things. All these creatures were put on earth to help us in some way. So destroying them really destroys the natural sense of our soils and the natural sense of the food that we grow. We need to take time and care with them because they are taking time and care with our soil. Number 2 on this list is biochar. Now, biochar is a charcoal made from plant waste, so it's an all-organic material. It locks in toxins, it retains water, and it creates a healthy structure for soil microbes to thrive by preserving nutrients. So by using the biochar, you're actually helping those little critters. They're getting more of the nutrients they need, plus they feed off of each other in some way because there are predators and there are other things going on, but you're helping the soil retain the natural nutrients. So it's obviously meant to be, all these things are meant to be, so we need to take care of them by preserving our soils as best we can. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. It doesn't lock in the toxins. I'm sorry, I did misspeak. It locks in the carbon. I misspoke. It really locks out the toxins. Thank you for pointing that out. I did misspeak. It is to maintain the nutrients in the soil, not the toxins. It's helpful to remove the toxins because it's a charcoal that will naturally absorb. Thanks so much for pointing that out to me. I just kept talking and didn't even pay attention to what I said. So number 3 on the list is microremediation. So that is talking about fungi. So there are certain mushrooms that can actually break down chemical pollutants, things like oil and heavy metals also in the soil. So if you have oyster or turkey tail mushrooms, for example, they're excellent at doing this. You know, they're like nature's cleanup crew. They're very silent, but very powerful. So if you're into fungi, these two, oyster and turkey tail, are very good for this purpose. So number 4 on this list are cover crops. So you have plants like clover, rye, buckwheat, even legumes. They draw up nutrients, they bind up the loose soil, and they even help removing toxins. So I suggest if you're using them as cover crops, don't eat them because they are drawing up the toxins from the soil. You may want to plant something somewhere else that you know already is toxic free or is organic. They are, things that are helping the soil because they're protecting the soil from eroding, and they're also rebuilding the fertility between the planting seasons. So number 5 on our list is zeolite minerals. Zeolite is a naturally occurring volcanic mineral that binds to heavy metals and toxins in the soil, improving its health. So I'm not encouraging anyone to take a zeolite internally because there are many formulations on the market that are not thoroughly lab tested and may still contain heavy metals because that's their job, to bind to heavy metals, and they may already have them in it. So check before you buy any, make sure they've been properly tested. Then number 6 on the list is electroculture. This is my favorite. So you use copper rods or antennas and you place them in the soil, and it stimulates the plant growth by channeling the atmospheric energy known as ether. There's no chemicals, no fertilizer, just energy from nature. Just energy from the ether working directly with nature. Now, I've used electroculture in all my gardens, both indoors and outdoors, and we've had enormous success. One of our biggest successes with our tomato plants. We planted 2 tomato plants right directly next to the copper posts. I mean, they were within inches, and they completely surrounded it. One grew well over 6 feet tall, had hundreds of tomatoes, and just grew and grew and grew, and was there even after the season was ending. It was still putting out tomatoes. So electroculture really does do its job, grabbing that ether, putting it in the soil, and releasing the energy so that the plants can grow enormously. So number 7 on the list is mulching with natural materials. So if you use leaves or straw or wood chips, it helps keep the moisture in, and it does suppress the weeds, but it also feeds the soil as it breaks down. Now, it protects the soil from the sun and the wind. So that protection also provides microbial life support beneath the surface. Remember those critters? That's the main reason I don't rake leaves in the fall. It's natural protection on the ground, and I don't disturb the critters who live there. They deserve to have their home untouched. So we're going to move on to our natural body detoxing. So number 1 on the list is intermittent fasting. Fasting allows the body to clean house. Basically, it activates autophagy, where the old cells and toxin are broken down and they're cleared out of the system. And you don't have to do extreme fasts. It's just like simple meal timing can make a big difference. I've said it before on podcast that I generally use time restricted eating, which is a form of intermittent fasting where you eat only between certain hours of the day and let your body rest for a longer period of time. It really is quite simple, and your body begins to adapt to it. So it's not a struggle. You just slowly work into it, adjusting your hours until you have a longer and longer period of time where you're not eating and you're eating within a shorter period of time. So I do recommend that for many people. Number 2 on the list are herbal detox teas. And these are like old world teas that most people don't drink these days or are coming back in fashion for some. But dandelion, burdock root, and milk thistle all support liver and kidney function and lymphatic drainage. So they begin to gently encourage elimination of those stored toxins through urine and bile. So it's a very simple way to detox your system. Then number 3 on the list are infrared saunas and sweating. So sweating is one of the body's most effective paths to detox. It encourages toxin elimination through the skin, which is your largest detox organ. Infrared saunas, they penetrate more deeply into the skin, so it's able to release heavy metals and chemicals from your fat cells and your tissues. Now, sweating is very important. Even if you don't own an infrared sauna, having a good sweat every day to release toxins through pores in your skin is very important to staying detoxified. The number 4 on the list is bentonite clay. Bentonite clay can be taken internally if it's in food grade form, or it can also be used topically to bind heavy metals and chemicals. Since it does bind heavy metals and other toxins in the gut to help eliminate them safely, it's best to take on an empty stomach with plenty of water. Now, number 5 is oil pulling. Swishing coconut oil in your mouth for 10 to 20 minutes can remove bacteria and help detox through your mucous membranes. It's simple, inexpensive, and it's great for oral and systemic health. And oral health is one of the primary concerns of reducing toxins from entering the oral cavity. It's very simple. Get in the habit. You brush your teeth. I have a routine. I use a water pick, and then I brush my teeth with my own toothpaste, which you can find on buymeacoffee.com/Angela Atkins. It's out there. The whole recipe is out there for you. And then after I've done that brushing and rinsed my mouth, I take oil, the coconut oil, swish it around my mouth while I do all the stuff I need to do. If, let's say, I'm getting ready for bed, I go ahead, brush my teeth, swish the oil around while I'm cleaning up the bathroom, putting the clothes in the laundry, whatever else I have to do. And then when I'm done, I always put it into a cup. Never spit the coconut oil into something like your sink, because it'll definitely clog up your drains. But it's really a simple activity that you can do while you're doing something else, and it's great for reducing toxins in the oral cavity. Then number 6 on the list is dry brushing. Just use a natural bristle brush and you gently scrub your skin in circular strokes towards your heart. So from below up and from here down towards your heart. This supports lymphatic flow, it supports circulation, and it also exfoliates the toxins out through the skin. So it's really good to do after you've had that really good sweat. Do a dry brushing before getting into the shower. Then number 7 on the list is grounding, which many people also call earthing. So just walking barefoot on natural ground like grass, dirt, or sand helps reduce inflammation and rebalances your nervous system. It helps reconnect you with the earth's natural energy, and it will also help reset your internal rhythms. So there you have it. 28 ways to start detoxing your air, water, soil, and body using completely natural methods. No synthetics, no pharmaceuticals, no middlemen, just you, nature, and the truth. To make this easier, I put everything in a free downloadable infographic. It's beautifully designed, if I may say so myself. It's easy to reference and it's perfect for sharing. I'll put the link in the show description so you can grab it for free. And if this episode gave you something of value, please take a second to subscribe, like, and share. Not because it just helps me, but because someone you know may need this. We all need each other right now. And the more we speak the truth, live it out loud, the more others will rise for us. I want to thank you for being here with me. I want to ask you to always stay awake and please be sovereign. And until next time, I thank you for being here. See you next week. God bless.